Mr Chair.
Maroney.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I do want to talk about the Families Commission because the government has made some moves to collapse the Families Commission and the Children's Commission together, and one would think that the opposition might have some concerns about that, but in fact what we are more concerned about is the lack of independence being shown by the Families Commissioner under this government. Under this government, after that Families Commissioner was appointed by the Minister, Paula Bennett, suddenly we had a Families Commissioner, Mr Carl Davidson, who in one press interview rendered the Families Commission absolutely irrelevant by declaring that he was going to revoke the Families Commission position on extending paid parental leave. And this was from the Families Commissioner, the man who is supposed to be putting families at the heart of what he advocates for. And when it came to being asked a question about extending paid parental leave on the back of a bill that had been drawn out in my name to do exactly that, because the government wasn't prepared to back extending paid parental leave, suddenly we have a Families Commissioner who balked at it also. And what he said, and I'm going to quote him here, he said, I mean, wouldn't it be great if none of us had to go to work and we could just stay at home and get paid for it? That is from the so-called independent Families Commissioner under this government, who in one foul swoop, I think offended pretty much every woman in the country, who knows that staying at home and looking after children actually is work, pretty much managed to make his whole commission irrelevant to families in one statement, all because he is working for a government that insists that the Families Commissioner takes a position that they would want to favour. And that's not the role that we should have for the Independent Families Commission. The role we should have is that it should be a challenging role of government. It should be a role where the Commissioner is prepared to stand up and fight for what families want and what families need. And if that Commissioner or this government was in touch at all with the stress on working families, then they would know that extending paid parental leave is indeed something that would make a big difference to family life. Because at the moment, families don't get any financial support after their baby is 14 weeks old. And that means that many parents are going back to work for financial reasons before they really want to and before their family is settled into the new routine. And in 2007, the Families Commission actually did a very comprehensive evidence and research-based report led by Dr. Rajan Prasad at the time, actually, and it was called It's About Time. And in that research and evidence-based report, they determined that, in fact, paid parental leave should be extended to 12 months. And suddenly, in the year 2012, under this government, we have the Families Commissioner feeling that he needs to say that that no longer is a priority for his commission. But, Mr Chair, it's not the first time, as well. He's not alone in that, actually, because, strangely enough, I had the opportunity to talk to the Children's Commissioner, also appointed by the Minister, Paula Bennett, recently, and he's prevaricating also on the issue of extending paid parental leave. And I have to pose the question to this House, what is the common denominator here? Both the Children's Commissioner and the Families Commissioner are supposed to be independent. Those two entities were designed and set up to be independent, to actually push the boundaries within government on behalf of children and on behalf of families. Well, that now has to be the sole domain of the Labour Party, because the Families Commissioner and the Children's Commissioner are not prepared to do it in the face of that government. Well, the Labour opposition is prepared to stand up for children and for families. We are at least prepared to put families and children at the centre of what we're pushing for, and we will continue to perform that role, even if those commissioners will not under the current direction of the government. That means, Mr Chair, that there will no longer be a Children's Commissioner.
Paseta Sam Lutoinga.
Chair, it's a pleasure to